All right, everyone, welcome back to Embody Radio, the show for teaching you exactly how to embody your happiest, highest, healthiest self. Today, we are interviewing one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Miss Kira Guarino. Oh my God, we love you. We're Kira's biggest fan. So Kira, she is one of our amazing coaches at EDF. Kira has a bachelor's in exercise science with a minor in psychology, a master's of human nutrition and functional medicine. She's a certified nutrition specialist. She's a licensed dietitian nutritionist. She has lots of letters, but even more than that, she has a big ass soul. And I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Kira. So welcome. And for anybody that's not familiar with you, let them know who you are.
Well, firstly, I thought you were going to finish a big ass. And I was like, come on, you can't see that part of me.
Well, that's not false. That's not false. I've seen it in action. It's a fabulous ass. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's great for marketing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome so much. Use it whenever you'd like. Oh, what was the question? Introduce myself. Basically all the things. I have the letters. I don't care about the letters. I care about connecting to people. I care about teaching, about nutrition, about really helping people with their health from the inside, not just like, these are the standards we have as far as health goes. Good luck. No, that doesn't work for people. So my big thing is, and if I could go back in time and kind of change my career, it would be neuroscience. Because my big thing is playing with people's brain and psychology in nutrition and in training, because the principles don't change, right? It's the same things. It's not like we're doing anything new. It's just how you're experiencing that. So I'm team people, although my face would tell you otherwise. If you're just listening to this, sometimes you wouldn't know that, but I am team like humans.
I love it. I think we've been on calls before where we're like, we love people and we hate them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's that nice like polarity. It's a nice yin and yang of I love you and I hate our species at the same time. But it's like from a place, the hate is from a place of love, of just like, we want us all to.
We should make that a t-shirt.
I can make anything a t-shirt.
That's genius.
I hate you from a place of love.
No, seriously. Wait, I think nobody steal that. We're going to make that before.
I'll make sure before this episode goes live that we have a shirt available with that design on it.
Thank you.
Yep. You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Really
Look at us putting our minds together, being entrepreneurial on this episode, not even 2 minutes in. I fucking love it.
Wow. What's going to happen in the next 60? We don't know. We're
going to have a whole brand built out on top of everything we already do.
Great. As we just talked about how we need to like settle down.
How we're both like, we need to slow down. And then we're like, no.
Yeah. Well, whatever. We're in our 20s. That's what it's there for, right?
Right. Yeah. Who the fuck knows what your 20s are for? I literally just recorded an episode yesterday that's like, your 20s are literally the decade of figuring shit out in the messiest way, like all of the lessons presenting themselves over and over and over and over again so that you can learn them in a more rooted way each and every time. And I'm like, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah, but it's crazy because now that you're in your like the latter half of your 20s, it's so different. Because think about, there's like 3 chunks if you really think about it. The early 20s, you walk in, you're like, I fucking know everything. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to do all these things. I'm fantastic. In your mid 20s, you're like, what the fuck just actually happened? Like what? I don't know what's happening. And then your late 20s, you're like, oh, you just have we don't know. Maybe in our we'll have more ideas.
Yep. It's so funny too, like literally the mid 20s, or have you seen that meme that's like, I know that everything happens for a reason, but what the fuck? Like,
yes,
that is your mid 20s. And I totally echo that experience. Like when I was 20, 21, I felt invincible. I was like, nobody can stand in my way. I'm blazing a trail. Like nothing can touch me. Like, fuck yes, let's go. It's like this youthful bravado. And it's really like, when you look back on it, you're like, wow, really wholesome. But you're like, I know better now. And like, now I see people in their young 20s, like, because I have friends of like every age spectrum. So like, I see some of my friends in their younger 20s and I'm just like, I just nod along.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and you have to. Yes. You have to. And I remember being in my young 20s and having, because I've always had like older friends or older mentors. Right. Like, I can't give you the answer. Like you just have, and I'm like, what? Like you have to know the answer. And now I have these young people that I'm like, I can't tell you what to do. I just have to let you figure it out for yourself.
Yep. Yep. You just have to be in your process, because no 2 processes are the same. And then, mid 20s, literally what the fuck is going on? Then late 20s now, which like, I think I'm kind of on that mid late 20s cusp. So it's like transitioning into those late 20s. It's just like, I'm here for the ride. And then every single friend that I have in their 30s, especially the women, are like, dude, the 30s are the best.
That's
like,
what I've been hearing from everybody. I'm like, fuck yes, let's go. 3 more years.
Yep. Yep. And then like literally even like I was at a bachelorette party last December where one of the girls, because I was going through a real rough time, then one of the girls was like, she was like, when I was your age, I was going through nearly an exact same experience as you. And she's like, and I'm a completely different person now. And I'm like, okay, that makes me really happy to hear
Yeah.
that, 'cause
I
this
know,
was
like it
never.
doesn't help immediately, but you're like, okay, I can do it. I'll
Yep.
be fine. Yeah.
Yep. I'll be great. I'll be great. But no, that's like what I've heard from literally every single person. And like it's such a, not to like take it there, but it's such a foil to a fitness journey and like a
Uh,
health journey. Like when you get into everything, I remember when I first started, it was like, oh my God, what a magical world has opened up to me. Like even when you're going through some shit, you're like, wow, amazing. And then you go through some stuff and you're like, fuck, this is a lot harder than I thought. And like, it's a lot messier and stickier
yeah.
than I thought. And then you're like, oh, and then these repeated lessons keep showing up to me. Like, what the fuck? Have I not learned anything? Have I not like made any progress? And then you just keep going through it. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
really just,
I think that's a beautiful blend because that's why we like fitness. At least that's why I like fitness so much.
yeah.
As far as like you do something you think you know, you don't know at all. You keep showing up, it's still sticky. And then you have like the discipline to keep going.
Yes.
And then you have what you want. And you can, my favorite part too is like you can adjust it. Whatever you want it to look like, you have control over that. Well, the coaches have control over that. But you know, there's controllable things. It's not just like, well, we just have to see what happens. Like nobody's going to say, yeah, go squat for 8 weeks and we'll see what happens. Like there's
Right.
reps,
There's a process to it. Yeah. And I think something that is also so powerful about the whole fitness and nutrition and training stuff, it's like you said at the beginning, there are principles and those principles never change, right? So when you're going through your own personal change where it's not like where things are not consistent, where you are different, you can always fall back on these principles and know that they are constant. So it's like a constant in a sea of change. And that's really grounding and really helpful. And can honestly, in my experience, that like grounded consistency of the principles can help you navigate through those more tumultuous seasons of life, because it at the very least you know that by doing the essentials, doing the basics, doing the things that are proven and tested over time, that's not doing you any harm, even if you're
yeah.
confused about everything else.
Yeah. I think that's a mid-20s, late 20s lesson where you're like, nope, you keep doing the shit that you know at some point is going to pay off. You just keep showing up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like that's also I think where I have not a problem with, but and it's not even like I'm so wizened, it's none of that, but like with the younger generation on social media, and I also know that that was me like 5 6 7 years ago, but like the young generation coming in and it's like all of the different trends that are popping up and that's what people latch on to, and it happens with every like new generation. But I'm
Yeah.
just like, you guys are going to find out in a few years that
Yeah.
the stuff that us elders have been saying now because we lived this
Yeah.
works, like you're going to find that out in a few years. And it's another one of those things where it's like, I can't tell you what to do because you're not going to listen to me. But
Yeah.
you're going to find out.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me think of all the like, you were born in the 1900s. I'm like, what the? Firstly, we were born in the last decade of the 1900s.
Exactly.
So
right, like calm down. Like,
but like when I work with because you know this, I work with like the NFL combine stuff seasonally, and all those kids, like last year they came and they're like 20, 21, and I was like, oh my God, you were born in after 2000. Like I can't even talk to you. Please don't even. And I love all of you. Just remember that. I love every single one of them. Not that any of them are ever gonna listen to this, but it's wild. And like you watch them and but you know, my favorite part is like there's this confidence about them that I'm like,
yes,
keep that. Like
yes,
keep that. Yes, keep learning. Yes, know that it's all gonna shit's gonna hit the fan. You don't know what's gonna happen, but like hold on to that, because that like blissful, ignorant confidence is so hard to come by. You know what I mean?
Like I said, it's like that youthful bravado of just like everything's coming up roses all the time. Like, and that is so beautiful. It's so childlike. And I wish I had like an elixir that I could give to people, including myself, to like bring that back.
Yeah.
And
but that's why we love play.
Yeah.
And I think you do much better at it than I do, but it's something I've like really started to implement and really started to work with my clients too, is like somewhere along our growth, right? It's not cool to play, or you don't have time to play, but it literally is the only time you can really tap into that inner child and that like just fun, right? And just joy. And so
Mhm.
there, the elixir, I think, is turning off your fucking phone and getting outside and doing
Mm.
something that's fun. And it doesn't need to be hiking if you don't like hiking. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, go run around, climb a tree, do something that you used to do when you were a kid and see how you
Mhm.
feel. You'll probably feel ridiculous for a second.
And that's
And
so
then you'll be
great.
like, wow, I feel this is like the best I felt in forever.
Yes. I want to zoom in on this part of the conversation because I think this is so important. And I love that you're like, you're better at this than me. Cause I'm like, I am still in the infancy stages of relearning this. But like, I think that's also a natural part of your late 20s is relearning what
Yep.
that means to you. And like, even if we just look at it from, this is how I look at it from a logical perspective versus just like allowing play because we want to do it. But like when you think about the state that you're in when you're playing, that's like pure parasympathetic.
Yeah.
You're not worried about any threats around you. You're not worried about the bullshit in your life. And it's also so much presence. Like when
Mhm.
you're playing, you're present. I see this in my niece. She's 2. Like it's just the most beautiful thing. You're so immersed in that. And it's also, I talked about this on a podcast with my friend Brittany. It's also how we learned as kids to process the world around us. Like if a kid's
Mhm.
playing like dentist or something, maybe they had a weird experience at the dentist and they're trying to process that through play. So like we can process all sorts of things through doing that. So I'm curious, and this is going to look different for everyone. What are your personal favorite forms of play?
Oh, that's good. Um, I mean, I've been a tomboy since I think I came out the womb. So most of it is like going to kick a soccer ball around. Like I am the most, now that I'm saying this out loud, I didn't think I've ever actually thought about this, but I'm the most like in here when I just go find a random goal and kick a soccer ball around by myself or with people. I love it. Climbing trees is a big one for me.
Love that. I did that all the time as a kid. My grandparents'
Yeah.
houses always had trees.
Yeah, if you couldn't find me, you had to look up because I was for sure in a tree. Um and recently I'm having this is going to be so in line for you, but I'm having this like call or like feeling for dance, and I don't know. Yeah, I haven't like explored it, but I think it's just the expression of and also the
Mhm.
sensuality of, which also you
Yes.
realize in your late 20s, you're like, okay, it doesn't have to be provocative to be sensual, right? And we start to
Mhm.
differentiate the difference. And like, so there's a lot of that. It's a lot of like active, but fluid. So
Yes. A
yeah.
lot of like flow based movement. Fuck, I love that. Have you thought about like any type of dance yet, or are you just like opening the doors?
Um, I mean, certainly not ballroom, I could tell you that much.
I tried that. I tried
Yeah,
that. As a control freak, you will not love it. It's a
yeah.
good lesson in surrender, but you won't love
Right. Right. Yeah, no. I don't know. I if I could think about it, I mean, I wish my my hips could do anything like any sort of hip hop in that sense, but no, like all I can think about is like fluidity and
it.
just
Mhm.
sensuality. So something
Mhm.
that embodies
Mhm.
that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say pole dancing, but I wouldn't be
I
opposed.
think I've been actually, it's so crazy. Like when I move back home, I want to start taking pole dancing lessons at some point. Cause like I'm also like, I think as somebody with a lot of like sacral trauma, I'm like, I think, and that has been super resistant to not only their sensuality, but their sexuality. I'm like, I
Wow.
think there's a lesson in this. And
Wow.
one of the things that really sealed the deal for me was I was on TikTok, as one is, and I found this pole dancer, and like she would do like traditional pole the way you would think of it, where it is very like sexy and sensual and all these things. But then she also had some videos where it was like to like Bon Iver, where it's
Yeah.
like that like it's still sensual, but it's like contemporary and like
Yes.
very almost what you would think of from like a silks person at a show, like so beautiful. She just looked like she was floating and flying at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks just so free. And I think
Free.
that exactly,
Yes.
I think that's like at the bottom of the funnel of what I'm looking for from that kind of thing would be like just freedom of movement. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's going to be I love that we're on the same page about that because
Yeah. When are we not? If like
right?
freakishly always on the same page
It's
for the
really creepy. It's
yeah.
so funny. Like for everybody watching this, when Kira had her interview, it was back in May, or no, it was back in April. Was it March or April? Actually, I think it might have been March.
You know what? I don't know.
You know what? Because I know we brought you on in May. We brought you on in May, so it was either March or April.
I think it was
But
April.
okay. Yeah, I knew I hadn't moved yet because it was in my old house. But Kira and I were on this interview, and I got off the interview and I was just like, I feel like I was just like talking to my friend. Like It was so
Yeah.
chill and
Yeah.
just so natural. And so, yeah, our brains are the same.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly the same. So good luck to anybody who has to deal with both of us at the same time. Anyway, back to sensuality.
Anyway.
Any whoozy woozies. Yeah, just play.
Yeah, I think play is a big lesson. And then I definitely think too, for the women out there, like, and maybe even the men too, I don't know if men like feel this call as much, but like more female identifying people getting in touch with your sensuality, because it's something that I didn't grow up around. And
No.
like, not for any like detriment to my mom. My mom was just very much so, and this is part of what I love about my mom, even though my mom danced like our whole lives, but she's very much so like in more of that kind of assertive, that energy. She worked like she worked in a male dominated field, wore like power suits to work, like that whole kind of vibe. And I have very much so that vibe too, but I've never had that example and that practice of sensuality. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, that's something that I want to have. And I've seen that in women that I have as friends. I remember the first time I ever really saw it in a friend, I was just like, oh, I want to do that. And
Yeah.
it's not even something that you do, it's just an energy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it really ties into slowing down, because the whole premise of sensuality, it's not just sexual in nature. It's literally just about stretching your sensory experience and
Yeah.
experiencing everything with the fullness that we can as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's nothing wrong with if it's sexual, because we are beings of creation, and that just happens to be how we create. Like,
Yeah.
that's where we get into like the esoteric, like like just meta conversations, but like I feel so much truth in it. And when I have practiced it even a little bit, you just you feel so much better, and you just feel so much more.
I think what we miss in this whole thing is the connection to self. And that's why I'm saying
Mm.
sensuality instead of sexuality. Not that they can't be the same or, involved with each other, but sensuality to me is like really enjoying self, and not necessarily in like an orgasmic way, which like if that's what you want, by all means, but like connecting to yourself in all parts, not showing
Right.
up as the boss bitch here or showing up as the friend here, but how do you want to connect to yourself? And I think something that I wanted to kind of circle back on is the way that you talked about there's nothing wrong with sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was so much projected, at least in our generation, as far as don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, you're a whore if you do that, don't, and blah, blah, blah. And like,
And you know what's so ironic about that too is that we also grew up in like peak era of like Victoria's Secret fashion show.
yeah, yeah. So it's been very confusing to say the least, but like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, but it's not bad, but it's bad. And so for me personally, coming from just like, I grew up in a church, like I can't tell
Mhm.
you that is just my experience. And as I've gotten older, I've decided like what I want to carry and what I don't. And this is not a religious conversation, but there's so much shame around trying to figure it out, and obviously be safe. Like, I'm not saying go out here and just do, I mean, if you
Right.
want to, by all means, but still be
But be
safe.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was something that was so wrong. Like, I wasn't allowed to talk about it, and not by my mom. Like, I have a very good relationship with my mom, but just the way that kind of the church or the leaders talked about things, like it was off limits. It wasn't safe. It wasn't safe to talk about. It wasn't something that you could learn about yourself. And so that's something in my mid 20s and now in my later 20s that I'm undoing, as far as that's not even my belief. Like, that's not even my thought. So I'm choosing to decide how I want to walk through that. And full transparency, it's the most uncomfortable thing in the world, because now I'm like, wait, okay, I got to learn this one. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like, and you just keep showing up. But yeah, it's kind of the like, I don't know if I want to say dichotomy of like, be sensual, be everything, and also don't do anything because that's wrong. And like, it's
Exactly.
just,
It's
yeah,
like be this, but not like that.
yeah,
And that is the most fucking confusing thing. One of the most confusing things I'd argue that we as women deal with in our lifetime is like the constant conflicting messaging
yeah,
around who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to be that person. And like, you're either a slut or a prude, and like,
yeah,
but you're allowed to be a slut if you're this way, and like that's amazing and that's great and that's wonderful. But then if you're a prude, it's like, oh, you're no fun, and like just all of these stupid fucking labels that really
yeah,
mean nothing and only really benefit the people creating the label, which it's
yep,
like, old white dudes. Like,
and it's so constricting. And
mhm.
then in my experience, what happens is you start to seek out partners that keep you in that box instead of flourishing and like allowing you to open up that box. And it wasn't until my recent relationship where I felt like, oh my God, oh my God, yeah, I could start crying. So much space to just
Yeah.
be, to experience, to experiment, to like figure it out. And instead
Mhm.
of like my last relationship, so fucking help me God, I had to be this like perfect person and I wasn't allowed to do this or that. And I wasn't allowed to, and like, at the time you're like enthralled with that person and etc. But when you get out of that and you really start to realize and start to define what I want to think, what I want to feel, what I want to experience, you realize that like, okay, that person put a box on me and I actually don't like that box.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that to tie it back to what we actually do in like a real world, we do that shit with our clients all the time of
Right.
like, okay, where did this thought come from? Whose
Mhm.
was it? Who put it
Mhm.
on you? Do you want that one? How do you want to experience that thought? And I
Mhm.
don't think we slow down enough to really like just decide how we want to even think about those things.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And also another thing I want to add to that is realizing like who put that thought there. And then like, me, I love having the value of like radical accountability. I also like to think whenever I have that, because I'm also like part of radical accountability for me is empowering myself and
Yeah.
acknowledging where I've played into that. I'm like, okay, where did I, or like what part of me allowed that to take place and
Yeah.
why? And like,
That's really good.
and like, I think for me, a lot of that was the part of me that wanted to be loved no matter at what cost. Like
Hmm.
being so in a space like where I was so willing to completely sacrifice myself to
Hmm.
receive love because I deep down didn't believe that who I was as myself was lovable.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you're gonna
that's
bring
even
out the
bigger
tears.
work. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo!
I'm fanning you through the Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you. That one's tough. That one's really tough to listen to and to just kind
Yeah.
of like, firstly, I'm sorry you had that experience because I think it's just shitty that we do that and we get
Me
stuck in
too,
that
man.
place.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And
Ooh.
I feel like that's another part and this is part of why I love where I am in life right now, even when it's hard, is like the coming out of that and realizing like, oh, here's where here's where I've participated in my own oppression and in my own suffering. And like, here's how the narrative is changing and here's how I'm changing it. And like, because what that forces you to do is it forces you to completely revolutionize almost everything, depending on how much of your life and self has been constructed around other people. But
Yeah.
when you do that, God, it's like a fucking wildfire. And then what's
Yeah.
left is you.
Yeah.
And that is the most beautiful fucking thing. And then actually getting to learn and feel into what that energy is like, oh, what is me? And then you're like, oh, wow, this is actually really fucking awesome. I'm never letting anyone take that from me again.
Yeah, which makes it so much more experiential than just like you get to write your own chapters and you get to write your own
Mhm.
book. Buffalo, it's just like experiencing it. And something I tell people all the time when we've like figured something out is okay, you can't unsee it.
Yep.
You cannot unsee anything you've just revealed. Now it is very much so choice. If you choose to do it this way or choose to do it that way, so you can't finger point. It is
Mhm.
now radical responsibility. And I
Mhm.
think that's powerful because even though, even if you decide, I don't want to act in the way that I thought I did, whatever, that's
Mhm.
choice. And now it's not, I'm acting because that person or because I'm worried about that person's thoughts or X, Y, and Z. It's just, I chose to be this way and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I say this on almost every podcast, and I feel like I've said it like in some of our conversations before, but it's like my favorite phrase is awareness is a bitch, but she's my bitch.
Yeah.
It's like once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. And like you said, once you have learned something, once you have learned, let's say, for example, like a way that you've fucked yourself up in your own fitness and nutrition, whether it's through a mindset, a behavior, or whatever, you can't unlearn that information. And so when you do it again, you're like, God damn it, I'm
Yeah.
doing it again. But then you can almost kind of laugh at yourself too. You're like, this clever little bitch in my brain just goes right back to the things that she did before or the things
Yeah.
that like didn't serve them before because it's so ingrained. And I don't know about you, but that's also helped me give myself grace in some of those processes because it's like, hey, it's not you learn this information and you automatically unlearn and stop doing everything that got you in this position in the first place. It's like, yo, that's going to be a process that takes time. I'm an intention.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you said you do kind of grant yourself grace. And also the way that you phrase that, because I think people miss this a lot because they just assume that they are their thoughts. And I tell people to label their thoughts. And sometimes I'm even like, give it a name. Like the gremlin that is like self-loathing, the gremlin that is self-promoting, et cetera, and decide to literally label them. And I do this, but I walk through like visuals of what that one looks like. So when the thought comes up, I can visualize it and literally say, if I want to, fuck off. Like I'm not dealing with it right now. And so again, being in a place of, okay, I'm experiencing these things, but I am not just automatically my thoughts. I am not automatically the emotions that I am presenting with, because oftentimes we present with those out of experience. And so if you've experienced something and you continuously show up in that way, making a choice to be otherwise requires you to choose to label it and walk through it differently. So yeah.
That's very intuitive that you do that, because it sounds a lot like, have you heard of IFS?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like IFS, like labeling your parts. But that's what you were saying too about like observing these things and not just becoming your emotions to like incorporate the name of the show. You don't have to embody your feelings. Like, and remembering too that emotions are past experiences. Like when we experience a feeling, it's because we have stored memory of that before. Like I'll use the example in I think it was early September, or it was like the very end of August. I was on a bird scooter and I got hit by a car. And like
was I here for this one? Because you got hit by a car almost twice when I was in Texas.
You were not there for that one. It was literally the day after you guys left. So it was Monday and you guys left on Monday. But I got hit by a car. And so then literally, I think it was last week, I got on a bird scooter to like go down to like run an errand or something. And like, as I walked up to the scooter, I started experiencing like the physiological feelings of panic and of anxiety, like the racing heart rate, then my eyes darting around. And I'm like, there is no actual threat present. This is a stored experience because of what happened the last time, or one of the last times I was on one of these things. So your emotions are a stored experience based on past data. So they are not necessarily reflective of what's happening in the present moment. It's just what you remember. Emotions are a remembrance. And so when you can have that and be like, oh, this is just based on a past experience. And then also changing the way that we say things. I am really like, one of my like witchy feelings is like when we talk, we're literally casting spells, right? Like that's where the word spelling comes from. So we are speaking things into existence with our words. And like, that's not even that mystical of a concept. Like what we say tends to come into reality. So I'm really cautious with I am statements, because if you say I am anxious, or I am depressed, or I am worthless, or whatever, instead of like, when you say I am, you are embodying the energy of whatever it is that you're saying. And you're now welcoming that into your physical, emotional, subconscious, conscious body, versus saying, oh, I'm experiencing anxiety, or I'm experiencing depression, or I am experiencing frustration.
You're going to bring out spicy me so quickly,
because
okay. I work in the functional medicine world. I love functional medicine for so many reasons, but so many people that seek functional medicine have the embodiment of I am sick. I am not well. And it drives me up the wall. And I will stop people in sessions and I will say, we're not going to talk about it that way. You are experiencing that thing, but you are not sick. You are not X, Y, and Z, because it is just, I have watched people literally do everything right. Testing comes back perfectly balanced. Everything is like tip top. And they, in their mind, have decided, I am sick. I am never going to get better. I am whatever. And I'm like, okay, but at this point, you could pay me all you want. I can't help you.
Right.
Unless you want me to help you, unless we really decide to take ownership of those words. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in that, because it was a very, I love the way you were explaining that.
I wanted you to do that because too, what was the last thing you said? What was the last thing you literally just said? Because I wanted to piggyback off of it, but it's like, I want you to
decide.
I don't want you to, I want you to not identify with the thing you don't want to be experiencing. And I think a lot of people probably hear stuff like that and think it sounds like woo woo, which I hate that term because it's just like a really patriarchal term, but like, I think a lot of people hear that and think, oh, well, you're just ignoring a problem if you don't
Right.
want to say that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Nobody is not acknowledging symptoms that are present, disease states that are present, whatever. But again, like when you say, I am this, it's literally like somebody throws paint on you and it just sticks and it dries and it stays versus I am experiencing or I'm dealing with. It's almost like if you're watching the video, you'll be able to see this, like this, my hand is you. That's like the strong pillar thing. And when you're saying I am, this is what happens to it. Like my other hand is grabbing onto it. Like you're one now.
Yeah.
Versus when you're saying I am experiencing, it's like just flowing through you and then
Yeah.
out when it's, when it's worked through or whatever. So like really thinking about how the energetics of, and I think this is also what makes us really special with what we do at EDF too, because like this is how we talk to our clients, like the energetics of what you're saying about the experience that you're having and what you're trying to do makes such a huge difference. Because then also think on the flip side of that. If we can create experiences that we don't want with the words that we use and the thoughts that we think about ourselves, think of what you could create. Like one of the easiest things is, but to evaluate like where somebody stands in their change journey is if they're starting a fitness journey, asking them, do you identify as somebody that exercises?
Right.
And they're like, no, then it's like, okay, then that's exactly why we're here. But if you can start getting to someone to identify as I am a person that prioritizes my exercise and my health and that, they're going to become that because you
Yeah.
are now saying, I am the energy of the thing that I want to have.
Yeah.
And I love that we have like the science background too, because it's like we can talk in this kind of conceptual way, but we see it happen within the physical body too. Like people feel better before they start losing body fat or before they start building muscle. Like the feeling comes first. It's feeling before form. And so if we can use that with our words, like I think a lot of people think that, oh, well, I'll identify as a healthy person or someone that exercises once I've done it enough, once I've gotten the goal, or once this, that, the other thing. It's like, no, you've got it backwards.
Yeah.
To identify with the energy that you want to create, you have to create that feeling, create that emotional experience. So that way you can continue to quote unquote, remember that emotional experience from the start.
Yeah. And I think to bring in the sciencey part of that, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you have experienced and something you have thought, right? And so if you're continuously in this place of, I am sick, I am never going to lose weight, I'm never going to, your brain literally is just taking that as facts. It doesn't know. Your brain can't tell the difference. So if we think about it, and this is why visualization is such an impactful, I should say, part of like pro sports. They don't just exercise, they really think through like, okay, like talking about a layup or something like that, right? But if we can start to shift that, and that's just here, like that's not even, I didn't ask you to go lift, I didn't ask you to change your diet. I am telling you, can we be in a place where we are open to change in our brain first, right? And I think that we hear so much of like you create your own reality, and like I believe all of that, but like it comes at people with so much like you can't do this, and so much like you just have to say I'm a millionaire and I have to say I'm this, and like, okay, sure, but like let's be tangible and like let's take little steps forward, because you're not going to go from being on the couch to all of a sudden a billionaire without any action. So let's take little steps forward.
Right. And you also wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want that giant quantum leap because you would have no idea how to handle it.
Right.
You would have no idea how to actually manage the daily life, the activities, the
your emotions,
the fucking taxes of somebody that is a millionaire. Like if you've gone from nothing to a millionaire immediately, it's going to be complete like energetic culture shock, if you will. So it's like, it's literally progressive overload of what you want to become, right? It's like how nobody goes into the gym, can't even squat the bar, but the next day squats 225. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
That's such I love that. Again, why I love fitness, because that is such a tangible example of showing up continuously, having a goal and saying, I am going to squat 225. It might take me 3 months. It might take me 3 years, but I am going to do that thing, right? It's the same thing with your life. I am going to start a business. I am going to be financially free. Actually, I take it a step further. I am financially free. I am a business owner. I am whole, whatever it is. And I think in our space specifically, we deal a lot with like women who are not feeling enough. And so it's this comparison game, right? And it's something I bring up all the time of like, okay, let's walk through the same things that we've talked about as far as where is it coming from, et cetera, et cetera. And now let's start embodying, to use our title here,
we love the
embodying what that looks like, right? Embodying how that sounds. And there's something to the affirmations. I am not beyond the affirmations. I think that they are huge. Actually, the other day I woke up and before I even did anything, I literally put my hand on my chest and I said, I am well, I am safe, I am enough. And like,
yes,
but like safe really gets
yes.
people, because people don't feel safe in themselves and in just the world. But yeah.
Where do you think people's lack of feeling safe in themselves comes from? I think it's self-abandonment.
I think it is a culmination of self-abandonment imposed by experiences, as far as could be just like genuine abandonment, could be something that happened in high school, as well as this constant fucking loop of comparison that we have all the time. Like I did this the other day. For 2 days, I was a mess because I was comparing myself to these people that like, cool, maybe at some point in my life I could be there. Do I want to? I don't even know. But I was already comparing myself to these people that I don't know. I've never met. I don't know what your actual struggles look like. I don't know what your relationship with food is, or your relationship with your body is, your relationship with your people are. Like we're all, and I mean, it's like the cliche, social media is killing society in more ways than one. But like, I think it's a lot of that. I think it is not being given the space as a kid, at least with us, our generation, we weren't given space to figure it out. Not all of us, but it was a lot more restrained. Whereas now I think the new generation kind of has way more room, way more autonomy, which in some ways is a good thing. I think they'll have a lot more kind of room to figure it out. In some ways, I'm like, okay, well, let's all rein it in a little bit. But I think it's a lot. I think it is a loss of, I think it is a lack of self-awareness from the beginning of like, I never really figured out what I want, who I am, what I like, because I was trying to be that person instead of figuring out like, okay, maybe I like to wear 70s clothes. I don't, but like, maybe that's what I liked. And
if I ever saw you in 70s clothes, I'd be like, do I need to call someone? Is this
you should.
signal? Okay. Now we
know. But you know, like I dress like whatever. I was wearing Hot Topic clothes because that's what those people were doing, but really I wanted to wear Free People clothes. Like it's literally that granular.
Yes. And like the millennial generation, God love us. I feel like I'm probably biased because I am one of us. So I'm like, I know the trauma that we carry, but like for one, I think for the majority, we have parents that were raised by Depression era parents. So like our parents were raised by people that came from like massive scarcity. And so they were raised with the belief that if you have Maslow's hierarchy of needs, don't whine and complain because you have everything you need. Like we were hiding money in the toilet, like that whole thing. And so I've seen in people like in our parents' generation, and like I love them so much, like I love that generation, but like a lot of emotional stuntedness. And so like we weren't necessarily raised to have just emotional intelligence as children. And I know for me, like I had a very confusing emotional landscape as a kid from like the environment that I grew up in, and then also just the emotions that I had. So like the emotional processing, I think part of why I am so good at feeling and helping other people with feelings now is because I've had to work through that, like to process my own world. But like, so we weren't really raised with, for the majority of us at least, and if you were somebody that was raised in a super emotionally available and open household, like thank your family, because that is so special and such a gift. But like we didn't know how to process our emotions, feel our emotions, develop an identity. Then we also had all of like the cultural shit come in. Like we had all of, especially as women, like all of the, this is how you're supposed to look, this is how you're supposed to act, all of the magazines that on one page would be like, here's this workout you need to do to not have a thigh gap, and then on the next page is like, here's a recipe for cake. Like it all this confusing messaging. And also too, with all of the cultural shifts, we're also on a cusp of a generation where we grew up like going outside and playing. We didn't have phones in our hands super young age, but then they were introduced to us. So like it's a weird landscape for us to navigate there. And then with all of the like social cultural stuff, like we're all freaked the fuck out about climate change. We're traumatized, but like we don't know what to do with it. Like versus I think Gen Z, that's one of their gifts, is they might be the people to know what to do with stuff like that, but millennials are just stressed the fuck out. We're traumatized.
I think the way you said it is just, it's confusing. Everything was confused messaging. Doesn't matter if you're talking about sensuality, doesn't matter if you're talking about like aesthetics, everything was, you wanted to do this and you want to do this, but you can't do that and you can't do that.
Yeah.
And like, what are we supposed to do?
Exactly.
So yeah. Yeah.
So
But also the like running around and playing as a kid, and then now social media, that's really so crazy. Cause I think about that all the time of like, we were literally the last generation that I didn't have a phone until I was in high school. Like, I think I was a junior or something.
I only had one in middle school. It was literally a Virgin Mobile, like phone that was probably like this big, because I would be at show choir and would need to like call my parents if I needed picked up. Like, it was literally a pay per minute, pay per text. I would pay like 25 cents for a Fergie ringtone. Like that whole situation was a QWERTY keyboard, like the whole thing. And so like now my fucking 2-year-old niece knows what an iPhone is. It's like, she can't like say it. She doesn't like know, but she knows what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
and they can navigate it.
Yeah. And she will walk around, not with an actual phone, but like it's not even a play phone. It's just a little kind of like card thing that goes with one of her toys, but she'll pretend it's a phone. She'll like poke buttons on the front. She'll hold it like she's taking a picture, like all this stuff. And I'm honestly really grateful. And that's not because my sister and her husband haven't done a great job. It's literally just the culture.
Yeah.
Like, they spend tons of time off of their devices. It's just, there's such an awareness and a presence of technology. And I think that's helped us advance in a lot of ways. Obviously, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now or doing the work that we do without it. But like, humans are also not meant to receive so much information from so many areas of the world. Like, we're not built for that. So it's also probably just as confusing in a new way.
I also think something to kind of piggyback with that is that we didn't learn what technology responsibility was.
Yeah.
So it was, we had none, and then we had all of it. And now there's like this discrepancy of like, when do I need to take time? What does that look like? How do I do that? Whereas, I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, I think Gen Z, they just grew up on it. So they don't really know the difference, which could be good, could be bad. I don't know. But we're in this place of like, no, I need alone time. And also I need to be on my phone all the time because of work or because of connection.
Like not having boundaries, like, I remember this has been one of my biggest shifts of like the last year is not, and it's just been kind of like a shift within myself, not expecting myself to be immediately available. Like, I remember if I would like get a text, I'd be like, oh my God, I have to like answer this right now. And I would get like panicky, like if I didn't have the time to devote to a response, but I felt like I had to, because I'm like, oh my God, this person texted me right now. I have to deal with it right now. And like stepping away from that and being like, I will get back to shit in my own time. If it's pressing, I'll know and I'll prioritize that accordingly. But the like setting boundaries around what we do with devices, that's so important. Like, the practitioner that I'm working with now, I think I told you about this, one of the first things he put on my protocol was doing a 30-minute silent walk every day, like no phone, no audiobooks, no podcast, no music. And out of everything else on the protocol, whether it was the nutrition, whether it was the supplements, it was the whatever, I was like, I can handle that. You want me to walk for 30 minutes without my phone? And I was like, Emily, that's a fucking problem. And like, even just doing that for a few weeks, it's like my dopamine's already reset.
I was literally already in my brain queuing up a whole conversation around dopamine and neuroscience. And I think I told you about the book.
Yes, I'm reading it. Dopamine Nation.
Fantastic.
So
phenomenal. Good. But between her and Huberman and this other neuroscientist, come on, brain. I will think. No. It's a woman. She's phenomenal. She writes books and she has an app. I don't know. Anyway,
if you remember it, let me know. I want to know.
Yeah. Her app is called Neurocycle. Okay. I know that. Okay. But anyway, between all of that like overstimulus that we get all the time, there is something to the fact that we cannot sit still. We can't be with our thoughts. And I think that's where so many people, to kind of tie back into this whole conversation, so many people are dysregulated because they want these things, but they're so uncomfortable with spending time by themselves without TV or without something device wise that they can't get from point A to point B. Like I want to learn Italian, right? But I haven't put in the time away from my computer because it is easier for me to sit at my computer and work than for me to sit in the discomfort of having to learn a new language by myself, right? And so like all of that, even, I mean, you're talking about rest and that's important too, but just like the dissociation we have as far as needing to be connected to something without being alone. So like, is it really alone time at that point? If you're on your computer, if you're watching podcasts, if you're listening to whatever, are you really being alone with your thoughts? Are you able to like separate between self and imposition, or are we just kind of going along on this little mouse treadmill of like, I want to change, but I'm not doing anything different?
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. And it's so funny, not funny, haha, funny, weird, because people want to know, first of all, why the things that they're quote unquote like manifesting or trying to speak into existence or whatever aren't happening. It's because you're not doing anything different. Like in order for
Yeah.
something to be manifested, there has to be aligned action that comes with it. So you can't
Yeah.
just be like, hey, universe, I want this thing, and then just sit and keep like circle jerking on your phone. Like you can't do that. And also, I think that this is a huge component of why so many of us have spent our entire lives so disconnected from our own intuition, because we're constantly getting and seeking external feedback to tell us something about ourselves versus sitting in that silent space with ourselves and getting to experience our own energy and our own perspective and our own intuition. Like it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that one's tough. That one's going to be tough for a lot of people to hear, because I think a long time ago, before we started working together, there, you might have said this or someone said this and you reposted it, but basically along the same lines of like, in a less gentle way, which sometimes we all need. I myself need that often, of if you want that thing, you have to fucking do something about it. And I remember when I was in my early 20s, I had a client, and I will never forget where we were, what color she was wearing, and how she said it. And I was talking about something and she was like, no, you don't want that. You just want to talk about it. And I was like 22-year-old me was like, oh my God, like I can't.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so sometimes when I go through these moments, like to bring up the Italian, I was sitting there the other day and I literally had her in my brain and I was like, oh my God, like I can't do this again to myself. And yeah, but
dude, and it's so funny. Like, and I've had to be really, and it was funny. We were on a sales and outreach call the other day, and Hillary and Tara like really helped me come to some breakthroughs about like content and like my voice and stuff like that in our conversation. But like people, because I'm very much so like I give people like a swift kick in the ass, and people don't like that sometimes. And I have definitely learned that there's areas where I can soften and like the time and place and all of that. But I'm very much so like here's the fucking truth that you probably don't want to hear kind of thing. You literally, now we're in such an age, and I think I have a lot of empathy for this, because I think a lot of this kind of mindset and mentality comes from burnout. But you tell people that they have to actually try, or you tell somebody like you have to suck it up, you're canceled immediately. You're toxic, you're disordered, you're all of this. And we've completely distorted our relationship to effort. And we automatically think that effort, that if we have to try for something, that it's bad. Like clients think that if they're not naturally shredded, that they're doing something wrong. People think that if they have to deploy any kind of effort into any task, that they're doing something wrong. When in reality, delayed gratification that comes from putting forth effort into something is so fucking good for your brain.
Yeah. Oh, everybody read that fucking book, Dopamine Nation.
Yep. It's a solid one. I'll link it in the show notes.
Yes. But also, frick, what were you saying? The pair of the delayed gratification as well as the fucking vagina society we have started to create. I say that, I take that back, because vaginas are actually really strong. Soft. Very soft, as far as you can't say anything that actually is constructive. You can't be this or do that because it might hurt someone's feelings or it might make someone. And listen, I am all for like the emotional intelligence that we have all created. But I also think we're limiting ourselves in like, in order to do something, you need to do something, right? And somebody needs to hold you accountable to it. And that's just how life goes, or you're never going to get anything done. And I think that for most of us that work from home, it's so easy to not do that, and to not hold ourselves to that standard, and to not feel that radical accountability, where obviously it's a little bit different because we have a team, but like working home alone or doing home alone things. And again, my boyfriend, to bring him up, like he's one of the most caring, genuine, loving people I've ever met, but also has zero room for people not doing what they should be, as far as like, he just doesn't put up with bullshit. And he, you know, the same way as you do, like delivers it in a very loving way. Sometimes he's a little spicy, but it's one of those things that he works in person with people. And I'm realizing, wow, the difference between me being online versus you being in person, I think it's so different as to how we hold each other accountable to things. But it's anyway, the marriage of the delayed gratification and just this softness that we are all accustomed to right now.
Yeah, fucking absolutely. And like, I'll take it there, and this will probably piss some people off, but like, and I feel like you might resonate with this as like a very similar female. Like as soon as you said the thing about Kurt, when you were like, he's a lot like you. And I'm like, yeah, if I was a man, I would probably be received a lot better.
Yeah.
People have a massive problem with women who are assertive, with women who are firm, with women who aren't soft, with women who make money, with women who do anything that has stereotypically been a quote unquote man thing. And yet they have the fucking audacity to call themselves progressive.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell me you're progressive and that you are supportive of women until it's literally the exact same thing of, okay, be a woman, but not like that. It's the exact same fucking thing repackaged. Like you have a problem with a woman speaking up and being assertive, like, and it doesn't come from a place of like me thinking I need to be dominant, and yours doesn't either. It's just a natural energy that we carry. Like if we're going to go into, you know, female archetypes, I naturally carry more like the warrior archetype. I'm not the kind of like softer archetype. That's just not who I am. And when I've tried to force myself into that box with that kind of content, with that kind of language, etc., it is like I am fucking stabbing part of myself over and over and over again every single day. And that's also not to say, I think this is something that gets misconstrued as well. And Hillary has been amazing at reflecting this back to me, because the first time Hillary ever met me was at a retreat that I hosted with my friend Sarah. And so she's seen me kind of in like that healer space of where I am like the firm me, but I'm also very nurturing. Like it's like Queen of Pentacles energy for anybody that's out there that's like into tarot and stuff. Like I will be firm, and that's my natural nature, but I'm also here to give you the biggest fucking hug. It's just like how you're like, yeah, I'm the spicy hug. Like that's exactly what that is. And but all that people see at face value is I have a problem with a woman speaking up. What does that reflect about you if you have a problem with that?
Yeah. Oh God, I'm just gonna bite
so much to unpack for the for the audience.
And this is in no way like, I actually don't consider myself like a hardcore feminist. I don't, because I think that that's a whole different thing. But I think that there is a little bit of like trusting feminine nature in that there's this, I feel like, again, to put people in buckets, that people put themselves in buckets. You either are this like soft, malleable, like impressionable person, or you're just a hardcore, like stone cold bitch. And I just don't think that's the truth, because I know that's not the truth, because both of us are both of those. I can be very, this is what the fuck we have to do, go. And I can also be very, okay, well, I'm seeing that this is kind of what's happening. Let's change this, or and you don't, and then it's the box. And all I keep coming back to is that people keep putting people in boxes. And until you decide that you want to make your own box, and what the fuck materials are it, like, is it a cardboard? Is it brick? Is it wood? What are you making your box out of? You have to decide that though. And you have to be okay knowing that it is going to piss people off, and you're going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be scary, and it's going to be weird. And you have to do it anyway. Otherwise, you're going to continue to Tasmanian devil yourself through this, just like, I want change. I want to do something different. Nope. You didn't do anything.
You fucking don't. Yeah. And I think it's really bold of you to say that like you don't identify as a feminist, because like first of all, that's just a phrase that like somebody would say and people are like, oh my God, we hate her. But like I would just have a like fear of saying that, not because I wouldn't consider myself to have feminist beliefs, but because as soon as you label yourself as that, you are expected to be perfect by some set of standards set by some group of people that nobody ever lives up to. There's always something that you're saying that's wrong. There's always something that you're saying that's cancelable. And that's not to say we shouldn't be held accountable to things, but I see some of the things that like my friends that are very publicly in that space deal with, and I'm just like, where's the grace? It's never there. And I also think too, like with what you were saying about energies, it's that whole like just expecting women to be completely soft and malleable and all of these things. And first of all, if you are kind of more like the wallflower or the soft, what we see,
we love you.
Exactly. You're fucking amazing. Like beautiful. But first of all, expecting all women to be that, absolutely the fuck not. And second of all, that's a complete bastardization of what it means to be quote unquote feminine. If we're actually talking about the energetics of it, feminine is not one thing.
Yeah.
Feminine is not weak. I think people just like to think of the feminine nature as weak. We
Yes.
call it Mother Nature for a reason.
Yeah.
If that's feminine energy, you want to see feminine energy, it's Mother Nature. She
Yeah.
is beautiful, she is soft, she is stunning, she is completely magical, and she will fucking destroy you at the just at the drop of a pin.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what
No, I love that you said that. I was literally going to say people think feminine is weak and it is fucking not. And when you
no.
figure out what your feminine power is, whether it is, and like I see things in colors. So whether it's like
Same.
a light pink or it's a fucking deep purple or a deep blue, own it. I don't care whatever you want to be, but like
Mhm.
don't ever fucking tell me that I'm weak because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
again, to just go through all of that, like it is not weakness. There's a reason. I'm gonna piss so many people off. There is a reason there is masculine energy and feminine energy, and that all people should be able to figure out how to embody both
Yes.
and balance both. That doesn't mean just because you were born with these parts, you have to be this, or just because you were whatever. That's a whole different conversation. But more so, you as a human being, a soul in a body, get to be both feminine and masculine in whichever way feels right for you, whichever way shows up for you. And that is my TED talk.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it. And if that pisses people off, maybe you're supposed to like look into that a little bit more, because also when we actually start diving into masculine, feminine energetics, or if it feels better for you to call them yin and yang so you don't have like a gender association with it, that's completely fine. Kira's 100% correct. We all have these energies within us. There is an integrated version of each, and there's a disintegrated or out of alignment version of each. So like when we think of like toxic masculinity, that's the out of alignment embodiment of masculine energy. It's controlling, it's toxic, it's hyper aggressive. That's not the masculine. Just like some of the kind of disintegrated versions of the feminine are manipulative, lying, like complete inaction, those kind of things. Those are not the actual integrated version. So if that is the energy that someone is showing up with, if that's their embodiment of their masculine or their feminine energy, there's work to do there, because that's not like the true essence of what those things are supposed to be. At its best, the masculine is supportive. It provides structure. It provides routine. It provides stability. At its best, the feminine provides intuition, emotional intelligence, awareness, creativity, all of these things. And like, as I'm saying those things, you can probably and there's more and more there, but you can probably identify some of those aspects within yourself. And so you're like, oh yeah, I am a blend of energies. And I think some people have like different proportions. I don't think there's very few people that are purely split 50-50. And that's the beauty of it. That is the fucking beauty of it. But like this, again, the trying to put people in boxes of here's how you're supposed to be this way, or here's how you're supposed to be that way. Or even in like I dealt with this a lot early on in my career as a coach, as a female, like as a female coach, you're supposed to be just super like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's all like, oh, you're totally fine. Like all this stuff. And guess what? My clients weren't reaching their fucking goals because I wasn't telling them, hey, here's the goal that you came to me with. Here's what you expressed to me. Here's how you're not acting and casting votes for that goal. I'm going to hold you accountable to that. As soon as I started having those conversations and giving that tough love from that loving but firm place, my clients respected me more and they made more progress. So it's like, we got to stop putting people in fucking boxes and then wonder why nobody has a concept of self.
Yeah. And also stop putting yourself in a box.
It's like what we said at the beginning. How are you playing into that?
Yeah, literally. I encourage you to really figure out, did I just hold on to that one? And am I allowing that to continue? Right. And then like really just in the most ridiculous way, decide what you want the box to look like. What color is it? What materials is it made out of? And I mean that because most people are so visual that like you can understand what that box looks like and what box you want, you can start to make a change. And then, then it goes on from there. But
yeah. Absolutely. I think something, because like one of the big goals of this show, and I think we've absolutely given people many, many things to take home and sit and work on. But like with it being called Embody Radio, it's like, I got so pissed with just listening to podcasts or watching videos or listening to audiobooks or reading books or whatever, and getting a lot of information, but no application. And so like, to me, the application, that's the embodiment. And so if you're really looking to just learn how to embody the actual genuine version of you, which I think has been kind of an undercurrent of this whole conversation, it's sit down and just fucking write out some of the beliefs that you have about life or yourself. And then beneath each one, ask where you first learned that. And did it come from yourself? Did it come from a parent? Did it come from a teacher? Did it come from a friend? Did it come from a partner? And ask yourself if that's something that you want to believe.
Yeah.
And go from there.
I would do the same thing with what you want in life and really labeling, do I actually want the Ferrari, or do I just feel like I have to have that because everybody who apparently is successful has one of those? Like, are you actually just totally fine with a RAV4 and financial freedom? Cool.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Yeah. And like, it's so fucking funny. I have my whiteboard over there, and a couple weeks ago when I was just like trying to figure out where I was in my process, I was like, I literally just wrote on the whiteboard on one side, I wrote what feels really fucking aligned. And then on the other side, I was like, what doesn't feel really fucking aligned? And literally that brought me so much clarity. Clarity is what drives growth.
Yep.
If you're not clear on your values or on what you want in life, you're constantly going to be, you know, like, yeah, I want the Ferrari just because somebody told you that you should want the Ferrari, or like that's a status symbol or whatever the fuck. Like, but like I learned that a lot of the things that I truly feel alignment in are really fucking simple. And like so giving yourself clarity, that's the best gift you can ever give yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually saw, I think you posted that.
Yeah, I posted on my story. I forgot.
And I did that. I like,
yes.
because I was like, obviously you do that all the time. And I'm like, God, fuck, I wish I could just think of those things sometimes, but I'm not currently in my most creative state. So that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, yes, that is something I did. And I was like, oh, and the more I look at it, I'm like, wait, okay, well, the things that are not in alignment that I want, right? Because I looked at it in two different ways as far as like what feels like it's not there yet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right, well, you can't just keep fucking walking around pretending that that's not going to be able to happen. And we can go back to speaking Italian, because that's one of the ones that we already use as far as like, there's a piece of me that is missing, and I've been trying to figure it out for like damn near 3 years. And I think I'm really starting to understand it and understand where it's coming from and understand how I need to make that change. And it's kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. So just so you all know, we all do scary shit.
Yep.
But it was such a good exercise just to think of like, and you could even break it up of like alignment in career, alignment in life, alignment in relationship, alignment in friendships, whatever. But it's so simple. And I think we all spend so much time with so many books trying to figure out the perfect self-help solution. And at the end of it, you have to fucking do the thing. That's all there is. You can learn about how to get more in touch with your feelings and like all of that. You still have to do the thing.
Right. Again, it's that aligned action. You can absorb all the fucking information. And I've been so guilty of this, just like devouring book after book after book after book, and just being like, okay, that was great, I'm changed. And then you're fucking not like,
and
you don't actually do anything with it. Yeah.
It feels good because you've learned something, which is great.
Right. And you can quote it. You're like, oh, like this really changed. Like,
yeah. Yes. Guilty. I think that's part of the millennial curse.
Oh yeah. We're constantly looking for better or worse to improve ourselves. And so we do that, and we think that we're doing that by doing all of these things, like taking all the courses, doing all the therapy, reading all the books, and those things can be helpful, but they're never actually helpful if you never apply them.
Yeah, which is actually kind of one of my favorite things about Gen Z is they just don't give a fuck.
No, they literally
like the way people show up on TikTok. I'm like, I would have never shown up like that, but like they don't give a shit because it's not about. I mean, I'm sure they care about aesthetics and all the things that we concern ourselves with, but like there's so much more about expressing themselves and creativity, which is my favorite part of that generation, and especially on TikTok. But it's they just don't care. Like they don't care.
Yeah, it's a different kind of that youthful bravado that we talked about at the beginning. It's literally just a here I am kind of a thing. And whether for better or for worse, like whether there's people out there that are doing that from a genuine place or from a seeking validation place, it's just like we have our for better or for worse shit. It's like there's so much beauty in that. And I think a lot of millennials, a lot of like our parents' generation, I forget what they're called, but like they try and shit on Gen Z because like, oh, they're just entitled and like sensitive and all this stuff. They're very perceptive. Like you said, they're very creative. They're very much so like quick action takers. Like
Yeah.
Like TikTok. Literally, TikTok is the perfect example of that. People see something, they see a TikTok dance, they learn it, they post it. Like, and that can
Yeah.
apply to more meaningful things, but like they're very much so an action taking generation. And like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that's like something that we can all learn from them.
Well, I think with the action taking, if we want to get into like the tangibles of life, they're so intentional with creating different sources of income where we were taught one job, figure it out, good luck. And like, it's just, that's not how the world works anymore. And they're so intentional with like, I don't know, I'm just going to fucking Google it. Like if I would have had that, I would never have gone to college. Like what? I'm still encouraging you guys to go to college if you want to, but
read some books.
But the action and I think they explore.
Yes, more. They play.
And they test boundaries a lot more than we do. And I think that can go into the box thing and stuff like that. But this isn't us just like hyping Gen Z up, although you guys are looking pretty cool. But
some pretty sick cats over there. I have a couple of I have two really good friends that are considered Gen Z. I might have three actually. One of them might be on the cusp, but they are some of the most brilliant thinkers that I've ever met, and just some of the most like passionate. They're very passionate about what they're passionate about, and it's so refreshing because I think also too, probably because we've just been fucking exhausted our whole lives. Millennials, we've had the tendency to water ourselves down, whereas Gen Z, they're fucking mezcal shots all day long.
Oh God, now I want a mezcal shot.
I have a bottle over there if I could give it to you in
the next time we hang out. Don't tell me that because I need to leave. No, that's part. I mean, we can talk about all that, but that's part of like me figuring out alignment is like feeling stuck and like, and this does not need to get personal, but just figuring out some of the things that like feel icky and being able to label them is so important. And now I just want mezcal. So,
and so to make a long story short, now she doesn't. This is probably going to sound like a little out there, but I found, and this is, maybe it's just because it was how I experienced mezcal for the first time. I find, because I don't really like spirits. I don't really like hard liquor. I don't like tequila. I don't like vodka. I don't like any of those things. Mezcal I said that so weird. Mezcal. Fuck, I'm going to fuck this up. I think.
Yeah, now you're thinking about it too much.
Emily, mezcal felt so spiritual. It almost felt psychedelic. Now that might be due to the fact that the first time I had mezcal, it was on my birthday. And so in Tulum. So the restaurant owner literally just kept coming over, tipping his head back and pouring it down. Like that might be why it felt that way. I don't know. But
no, I think mezcal is an elevated alcohol. It is elegant. It is bold. And it is so, it just like, like I don't know how else to explain it.
It's so distinct. It's distinct.
No, it's superb. It is superior to any so far, except a really good bourbon, but like it's up there.
Oh, wow. I love that you're a bourbon girl. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That checks out. I could literally just see you drinking an old fashioned, like super classy in like a speakeasy. That feels very
my dream. I love speakeasy.
Is your coffee shop going to be a speakeasy at night?
Yes.
You open one? Yeah. Love that.
Oh, don't even get me started. I have so many dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
Same. I'm like a cat and I want to live not just 9. I want to live like at least 18 lives. I'm like 2 cats.
Yeah. Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, dude, what are we all worried about? We have like 70 good years and then we're done. So live it up. Like, let's get to it.
Right. My goal is to at least, I want to get into my hundreds. I want to be a centenarian.
Oh, so does Kurt. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I mean,
one of my friends is literally like, I could blast off right now and I'd be indifferent. And I'm like, are you fucking okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm great. Like, there's nothing wrong. She's like, I just don't care. And I'm like, what's that like? I mean, she's also an Aquarius, so that makes a lot of sense. Versus I'm like, I like being on the ground. I like being down here. I'm a Taurus. I like it down here. It's really nice. Yeah. She's like, no.
But you don't know what you're missing. So maybe maybe she's onto something.
That's true. We don't know. Dude, this has been fucking awesome. So if you were to, first of all, tell the audience one thing that you want them to take away from this episode, if they take away nothing else, whether it's something they can do, something that they can start practicing, a book they can read, whatever it might be, what would it be?
Oh God, I think I almost started crying.
Maybe it's go cry.
Well, emote. No, firstly, it would be to get, like, in the most like spiritual and physical way, like give yourself a hug, like give yourself a minute to just be okay with the fact that shit might have hit the fan and whatever happened got you to this point, and it's okay. And you can still decide how you want to move forward. And I think the like tangible piece is figure out what your box is, who put you in that box, and what you want it to look like in every facet. Figure out how you want to go forward. If you want the box to look like a fucking circle, I don't know, but like decide that you actually have the power to make those changes, to make a decision, and not just live because somebody else told you or made you or created this environment for you to be. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Don't just accept the narrative that's been running.
Yeah.
Figure out how you want it to continue. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about that in so many different capacities in this conversation, which I think is so powerful. And I think it will resonate with so many people. So then as our wrap up question, what is something that you are working on embodying in your life, and how are you doing it?
Why do you have to get personal? Okay, can you repeat the question? Sorry. What am I working on embodying and how am I doing?
And how are you doing it?
Oof. I am working on embodying, because this is going to like overlap in multiple places.
We love that. We love a multi-purpose queen.
My most authentic self. And I say that because I think there are a lot of pieces that show up out of protection, or show up out of vibrato, or show up, no,
Bravado.
Yeah, thank you.
Vibrato is like when your voice is like,
I know, I was like, nope, that's the singing thing. But yeah, showing up authentically. How am I doing that? Exactly what the fuck I've just been talking about this whole last hour, is just like constantly questioning, constantly deciding and making choices, and really trying to live up to them, as far as like actionably doing things, or tangibly taking action, I should say, as just like, I'm not going to get into my whole existence, but like every day trying to make a decision that would support that more authentic version of myself.
I fucking love it. I love it. And I see you doing it. I see you in that process, and I see you putting in the work. Like, and it's messy. Like it's messy. It's hard. It's confusing. And like, I fucking love that for you.
Yeah. Thanks. I think I've been blessed in my life to have really good mentors and bosses. Mm-hmm. And this is no different, but I've also, stop. I could cry. But it's so much more than just like a professional relationship for the people that I've had in my life, which again, blessed to have, because I genuinely feel authentically and like deeply connected to them, or like an actual friendship outside of. And so that's been something that's just like fueled me to no end, because I am endlessly supported and loved. But so thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for also doing that for me, because you do that for me too. And it's so special, like, because I've had that in mentors too, but it's so special to also have that from my team. Like, it's the craziest shit. Like, if you would have told a little, how old was I? I was 20. You would have told a little 20-year-old me, like sitting in a coffee shop in Dayton, Ohio, when I took on my first online client, that like, this is what it would be, like this interfacing. And like, I would have been like, okay, like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, and like, oh, I don't know. But now I'm like, I could not imagine it any other way. And it's so fucking special.
Well, I think anybody who hasn't been a part of our team in some capacity, like as a client or otherwise, if you have for any reason a doubt, don't, because we are you could not make a team like this on purpose again. I don't think.
You really couldn't. You really fucking couldn't. And that's also like, and I swear to God, guys, we'll wrap this up in a second, but just like to talk. But I've beat myself up a lot over the years, because like it took me 5 years of doing this by myself to start hiring out a team. And I definitely beat myself up for a long time about waiting so long to do it, because I had plenty of mentors being like, yo, you need to scale, you need to scale, you need to scale. And I just wasn't ready. And I spent a lot of time just fucking dragging myself through the dirt for that. But if there's anything that I'm so grateful for waiting and taking my time for, even if it was just me being stubborn or not being ready, it's because of the team that I have now. Like, I would wait 1,000 lifetimes.
Now comes in our just like cheesy, unreasonable love for each other.
And everybody's like, okay, we're clicking out now. This is just fucking.
Sorry, everybody. We can do this offline.
Okay, so Kira, if people want to know where they can find you, they want to consume your content, if they want to work with you, plug away. Where can they find you?
Well, through us.
So Instagram. What would be your Instagram?
Yeah, sorry. My Instagram is Kira Kira Lucia I don't know why.
Say Lucia. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Lucia. I always fuck it up.
It's okay. Just know in Italian, if there's two C's or a C and an I, it's a chi. Yeah. Or if you want to see me on the functional medicine side, I am here at guthonestTruth.com for now, for always, for I don't know, for as long as my life depends on it. I don't know.
We'll link all that in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on, Kira. You were fucking amazing.